This tutorial shows how to access heart disease statistics and maps provided by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. To access this information and data, navigate to the URL highlighted here. Once you reach this landing page, you'll notice a variety of options provided by the CDC. One are fact sheets on heart disease that give statistics on the rate of death related to heart disease in the United States, as well as costs for both maintenance and diagnosis of this disease within the country. There are also other statistical reports and weekly reports for healthcare professionals and the general public related to heart disease. What we're going to focus on in this tutorial, though, are heart disease maps and other data sources. So if we click on this link here, we're taken to a variety of links related to maps and data sources for heart disease. What we're going to focus on are these interactive atlases that allow you to compare at the county level as well as the national and state level incidences of heart disease and other cardiovascular conditions in the United States. These maps are available in two different formats. One is a county level, which gives you a county overview of the entire United States. This would be helpful if you wanted to compare rates within specific counties in a state or between counties maybe in a particular region, so say the Southeast. Or you can initiate these maps at the state level, which may give you a broader overview. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to focus on the state level views of heart disease. If I scroll back up here to the top, I have the option to select the county level map if I'm interested, or a particular state. So since I'm located in South Carolina, that's the state I'm going to choose. You'll see that the map then narrows down to my state and then gives the different counties within it. I also have the ability to select data and other filter options from a variety of categories. I could look at heart disease and stroke data, which gives a more narrow view of heart disease conditions such as heart attack, atrial fibrillation, hypertension, stroke, etc. I could look at risk factors for heart disease. So these would be comorbid factors like diabetes, obesity, lack of physical activity. There's also socioeconomic data that I could look at, as well as healthcare costs and delivery. There's also a very neat overlay feature here, which allows you to select one of these other categories above and compare it to things like health centers that are federally qualified or hospitals within a given area that provide these cardiac services. So for demonstration here, we are going to look at the number of deaths due to heart attack here in the state of South Carolina. So to do that, I'm going to click acute myocardial infarction or heart attack and death. And I'm given a list of other options here that I can further filter the data from. So I see here that I have a date range, so I could select a date range here. Obviously, 2018 is the most up-to-date data that the CDC has provided. So I'm going to leave the data range the same. I also have the ability here to filter on race, gender, as well as age. So for the purposes of this instruction, we're going to look at deaths due to heart attack from 2016 to 2018 for African American males ages 35 plus. So once I've set all my filters, I hit apply. And I'm given a map that shows at the county level for the state of South Carolina, the rate of heart attack death per 100,000 residents. And I can notice here that there are certain areas within the state where the rate of death from heart disease, particularly from heart attack, is higher. So I may want to do some further research on that. So if I go down here to my overlay feature, maybe I want to look at the number of hospitals in the state of South Carolina who provide emergency services. So if I click here on emergency departments, this map then populates with these yellow crosses. So I can see within the state of South Carolina where the most emergency departments are. I see several here near Columbia in the center of the state, several more down in Charleston and in Greenville, which also happen to be highly populated urban cities within the state. There's a few in the Grand Strand area, but maybe not as many throughout some of the more rural places in South Carolina. If I want to go back and further look at hospitals that offer intensive care or cardiac cath treatment. I can add these to the map, and you see that in the legend here, it populates. So I notice particularly if I'm interested in cardiac cath, which are the teal blue squares, there are very few cities in the state of South Carolina that offer this. Let's take these other ones off. Particularly of note, there are a few hospitals that offer cardiac cath services in some of the areas where death from heart attack is high. So that may be something of interest to me. To clear out these filters, you just unclick the option. Maybe I want to go back and look at other potential risk factors. So if I want to look at obesity percentage for the state of South Carolina, maybe I do a comparison between the previous graph and see that the rates of obesity are higher in areas where death due to heart attack are higher. I can also look at other diseases, so I can look at stroke and deaths due to stroke if I want to run the same filters with Black males ages 35 plus. I can apply that here. Just from what I see, it looks like stroke and heart attack seem to be prevalent in the same areas in certain counties within South Carolina. I also have a variety of other filters that I can run here. But say I have what I want and I want to export these results. To do that, I go to the top of my screen and export. I have a variety of options to use, so I want to use this polygon one. If I want to add additional risk factors to my data, I can. Otherwise, I can just hit next. And it will run a county by county report. Okay, looks like that's taking a little while to run. But it would generate a report here of county by county that has the data that I'm looking for. There are also a variety of other options here. You could download GIS data, reset your map. If you want to create a link to this map that you could share with others who are particularly researching the same topic as you could do that as well.